What up? It's your man, Ole Man Winter, coming live and direct and in full effect. Back with another episode of No Holds Barred, where we spitting that real, straight, no chaser. We telling it how it is, where we think what we say and we say how we feel. You know what I'm saying? So, on to today's topic at hand. Now, we dealing with a truly pathetic individual that I've come across scrolling down these Twitter streets. I meant to get on this Mark's heels a couple of days ago, but I had a small little hiatus. I had to take a little trip. But I'm back and I'm ready to get down on this Mark. I'm ready to, what I'm saying, state the business. What I'm saying, and let people know the real deal about one of these clown coons on Twitter. So yeah, like I say the other day, I'm scrolling through Twitter and I happened to come across a little video. So without further ado, I'm gonna go on and start playing this trash bag, and we'll go from there because this Mark is really, he's literally a coon. When you see the video, you'll see what I'm saying. But we dealing with a literal, real deal coon, ladies and gentlemen. So um, fair use is in full effect as usual. And let's get to it real quick. I ain't gonna waste no time. Let's get to it real quick with this clown coon chasing clout on Twitter.
White people living today don't owe black people any type of reparations in any way, shape, or form. Hear me out. At no point, anyone living today who is black has anything to do with what happened 400 years ago.
So let me just, because I'm gonna have to stop this clown in his tracks. First off, this big stupid coon and dummy. Like I say, you can see a coon. He got the coon. He got the coon attire on and everything. So he's wearing the coon uniform. He got the coon hat on. So he letting you know how much of a buck broken, shucking and jiving, white butt licking coon he really is. He even got the coon ears on his head. But this Mark is talking about 400 years ago. He's a coon and an idiot because slavery was over in 1865, technically, officially. So that's, by my calculations, that's nowhere near 400 years ago. That's around maybe like 150 years ago. Some of our grandparents may have been slaves. We may have personally, spoken to, or, what I'm saying, like I say, or our parents, their parents may have been slaves. That's not 150 years ago, floating around that time frame isn't that long ago, in the grander scheme of things. But these white supremacists and these white supremacist lovers, they have to skew the numbers to make something seem like it was so far away as if it was ancient history, instead of confronting the fact of the matter is as it really is in reality, that slavery wasn't that long ago. Now, whenever you start off with a lie, everything that comes behind that is invalidated. So he starts off his video talking about slavery started was 400 years ago, basically playing all this ancient history game the white supremacists like to play and their puppets. So he's playing the white slavery was ancient history, but he starts off with a lie, so it invalidates everything that he has to say afterwards. Not that he makes any relevant or good points throughout the course of this video at all, but I'm just letting it be known that he starts off with a ridiculous lie, adding over 200 years to how long slavery actually was when it actually ended. 400 years ago, that really isn't that long ago, but it's nowhere near 400 years ago. Again, we're talking about 1865 and it's 2024. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's roughly around 150 years ago, a little bit over 150 years. So at the end of the day, that's a big difference, 400 and 150. So maybe this guy needs to go back to math class. Maybe that's why He's out here cooning and trolling and out here to kiss white behind, you know what I'm saying, because maybe he wasn't successful in school. He wasn't that good of a math student. So his backup plan was to get on the internet and lick white butt all day long. You know what I'm saying? But let this goofball continue as again he starts off with lies, so he goes downhill relatively quickly from here. And again, fair use if this clown decides he want to try to pull a little stunt because he don't like what I've got to say about him. This fair use is in full effect. This is for commentary and educational purposes. I need to educate the people on how not to be uh, white butt kissing coon out here in these Twitter streets or TikTok or wherever he likes to lay his little filthy coon head.
More than likely, you don't have any relatives living today that had anything to do with it as well. And that same thing goes for white people. Not a
Yeah, we may not have any living relatives today, but again, we're only like 1 to 2 generations. Again, like I said, the snowball effect of a lie. When you start off with a lie, everything that comes after that snowballs and makes the lie bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I say, everything he says is invalidated. We are 1 to 2 generations away from actual slavery. So that's not ancient history. That's not long ago. And whether they were alive or not, none of these filthy, dirty coons or white supremacists would ever fix their mouth to ever use any of these arguments with a Jew. They don't even use the arguments with Native Americans. Matter of fact, the U.S. has given Native Americans all type of reparations, and none of these coons or these white supremacists have ever fixed their mouth to say that Native Americans didn't deserve their reparations. They awarded Native Americans half of Oklahoma without a peep from any white supremacists. Only time they got something to say is if it's something that's supposed to be for black folks. If it's supposed to be for black people who are the descendants of the enslaved in America, then that's when they come out the woodwork. They coons come out the woodwork. The white supremacists come out the woodwork. Everybody comes out the woodwork to come hate and dump and try to uh, defecate on any type of restitution to be made to black Americans, the real black Americans, not the tethers and all these, foreigners, Johnny come lately young blacks. The real deal, the ones that are old by this country, the ones that built this country. Anytime it's something for us, it's lawsuits come out. It could be Asians could have got the exact same thing with no matter what the scenario is. We could make any scenario ever. It could be Asians benefiting for years. It could be Hispanics benefiting from it for years. It could be Native Americans benefiting from it for years. If it's something that they think black folks is about to get a hold of, all the lawsuits is coming out. All the coons is coming out speaking out against it. All the white supremacists is coming out. The Ben Shapiro's and all these other people is coming out the woodwork to speak against it because it's something beneficial or perceived to be beneficial for black people. Just like the affirmative action was something that, even though it didn't benefit black folks, it disproportionately benefited Asians and white women more than anything else. Affirmative action, they all came out because the thought of it benefiting black folks made these people cut off their own nose and spite their face. The Asians who overwhelmingly benefit from affirmative action filed lawsuits to get affirmative action decimated and destroyed and taken off the law, taken out as a law, and they overwhelmingly benefits from affirmative action over black people by double-digit percentage numbers. They cut their own nose off to spite the face, and now they crying about being discriminated against from these PWI institutions because now they no longer have to take blacks, Asians, or whoever the heck that they want. They can just put in there whoever they want. But you see the way everybody just gathers and everybody has their butt hurt when they even think black people is getting something that may put them, that may close the racial wealth gap or may give black people a leg up or maybe make them in a position that they can catch up to the white supremacists who run this damn country and this nation. You know, anytime you see that they're talking heavy on the reparations talking, it's coming across the states is trying to act like they want to pass the reparations thing. Now we got the coons come. They just sent the coons out here to sit up here and talk about, oh, y'all Negroes ain't never gonna get reparations. Y'all ain't, you see what they got to say. You're never gonna get it. It's just like what was on what's the Friday, Friday after next. Uh, he ain't gonna get it. He ain't gonna get it. I hope he don't get it. I hope he don't get it. The hater stuff. These tethers will come out the woodwork straight up hating for no good god doggone reason because they think black Americans are about to get something. And I'm like 1,000% sure this literal coon, the dude he got a coon helmet on, this literal coon is just another tether hating on black Americans and sitting up there like Mike Epps and Friday talking about he ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it. I hope they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you coons can keep on hating and all this other stuff, but what's meant to be, none of you all can stop. And whether we do get it or don't get it, it's gonna be some way, shape, or form that we will get our just due, whether it be official reparations or the destruction of this country. Whatever it be, because if this country doesn't do right by black people, trust me, it's doomed. They've already done studies and all type of stuff about how America's anti-black racism has cost this country, and I've quoted this before, $16 trillion. And we could go on to the logistics of what all that entails, but we can just give a general overview. The cost of lawsuits and um, just the aid systems and all of the money that it takes, all the legal things that are put in place to try to stop black people. All the destruction of the earned wealth of black people, which means instead of having functioning and contributing members of the society that could be adding to it, the country and the system of white supremacy goes out of its way to destroy black wealth and knock that down. That hurts the country. It make white people feel better to have a lower caste and people below them and feel like they superior to other people because we have a system that holds these people down. Even when they get a leg up, they have a system that comes in place and snatch the rug from under them. But at the end of the day, from a financial aspect, it's not beneficial to the country. So again, you got these coons out here that want to jump on the white supremacist bandwagon and jealous that they believe or they might suspect that we might be getting close to getting reparations. And then this is the type of things that you get. And don't let us actually get reparations because this type of stuff is going to be 10 times over. They're going to find a whole nother reason. They're going to be running around talking about, oh, all the black people about to buy Cadillacs and chicken and watermelon. They're gonna be just saying anything. Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing but squander it and stuff like that. And then if they don't put special laws and protections in place, they ain't gonna do nothing but try to create laws to criminalize us in some type of way once we try to take the money and do something positive with it if we don't go and buy chicken and Cadillacs with it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, reparations is more than just money. Reparations, we want everything that everybody else gets. They get special laws, protections, exemptions, sovereign land, all type of stuff. Because what's reparations without having the mechanisms to protect the wealth that you receive from the reparations? And again, these people don't never speak out against the Jews with their reparations or come up with all this stuff, all these arguments that you can take the exact same argument and place it on a Jew, place it on a Native American, place it on the Asians that got reparations. We forget about all these other people that got reparations that nobody bets an eye. Even the Italians got reparations. But don't you can take all these little petty little bullcrap arguments that they come with about how long ago it was, or this, that, or third, and whatever little else bullcrap they try to come up with, making up lies about it being 400 years ago, and to be the basis of their bullcrap thesis statements. You know what I'm saying? They don't take none of that. They don't make up lies and tell you the Jewish Holocaust was 400 years ago. They don't make up lies and tell you the Native Americans were displaced and murdered and killed 400 years ago, which they stuff really was almost like 400 years ago for them. And they're getting paid and chipped off and paid off and everything like that in this day. But they say, well, none of you all were alive back then. But when they pay reparations to the Native Americans, because what they give them is reparations, they just don't say it because they know everybody get up in arms about why black people ain't getting reparations. So they give them their reparations without calling it reparations. It's reparations. You're giving people land, you're giving people money, they get a monthly check. That's reparations. Nobody gets up in arms about no Native Americans getting reparations. Nobody gets up in arms about them collecting a monthly check. Nobody gets up in arms about them having sovereign land to themselves. Nobody gets up in arms to their tax exempt statuses. Nobody gets up in arms about none of that stuff. Nobody gets up in arms about the Jews getting reparations. And all these little bullcrap arguments they try to say can be applied to each and every one of these groups. And he's about to try to rattle off a bunch of nonsensical bullcrap to try to justify why we shouldn't get reparations. Because this coon, tether, but don't qualify. Because who would argue against something that would be beneficial to themselves? So you know he's a tether. And more than likely, like Tariq be talking about, more than likely he got the coon hat on to cover up that tether hairline. You know what I'm saying? Let's just call a spade a spade. You know, he probably got the coon attire on just to cover up so we just won't be able to immediately identify him as a dang on tether. But let the Mara continue, because I'm tired of even looking at this disgusting clown's face.
Single person who is white living today has a thing to do with what happened 400 years ago. If you are black and you somehow trace
You see how he has to continue to emphasize the lie of 400 years ago? See, if you're going to tell it the right way. Don't lie, because you invalidate everything you're talking about when you lie. But then you don't offer a correction, an adjustment to what you're saying, and nothing. You don't go, well, you make a disclaimer or follow up video. Well, after I've been told several times by several different sources, I pushing incorrect information, and slavery wasn't 400 years ago. It was more like 150 years ago. And then try to continue on with your bull crap, because you know by not saying the 400 years, it destroys everything else you're saying. So you have to stick with the 400-year lie, just like the white supremacists love to tell the 400-year lie too. Again, you all need a math class if you think 1865 was 400 years ago.
it down that you are related to slaves, congratulations. You won a prize of absolutely nothing because there were.
Now you hear what he say? Let's say you can tell he a tether just by the way he talks. Oh, well, let's say you were a slave. Well, you won the prize of absolutely nothing. That sounds like jealousy to me. That statement right there is like the nail in the coffin of saying that this dude is a tether, like on 1,000% factual level, because that was jealousy. You hear what he's saying? It's
Related to
jealousy.
slaves. Congratulations.
Listen,
You want to somehow trace it down that you are related to slaves. Congratulations. You won a prize of absolutely nothing
hater.
because there were, in fact, white, black, Hispanic, and Asian slaves. And yes, I did.
So now he's coming with the intellectual dishonesty. We're talking about slavery in America, because the reparations we're talking about is the reparations from slavery in America. And that's the point of his speak of what he's talking about, because he keeps saying it's 400 years stuff, and he's talking about American slavery. But now he wants to say white, black, Asian. He wants to say everybody was slaves, but in context, what he really need to be saying, they was all slaves in certain points in time in history. And that those times are pretty much ancient history when those people were slaves. But at the end of the day, the chattel slavery of the transatlantic slave trade is the worst form of slavery known to man ever to have taken place in history. They didn't have slaves where people were the disgusting acts of the rape and just the controlling, where you're a perpetual slave for generation upon generation upon generation. You and every and all your offspring will always be slaves. You will be your chattel property no different than cattle or livestock. You're basically livestock. You're considered subhuman. There's never been a form of slavery in the history of the world where the slaves were considered subhuman. They had zero rights at all. They were livestock. They were perpetually raped. They had no control over their sexual activities. They had breeding farms, again, like they were livestock. That's not normal, the normal slavery that went on. You know what I'm saying? That's not how slavery was conducted throughout the annals of history. It is documented factually that the form of slavery that happened here in Americas and during the transatlantic slave trade was the worst slavery ever known to man, in the greatest atrocity in the known world's history. So to downplay slavery like it was just another form of slavery is, again, intellectually dishonest at its core. And the way he framed that by just saying, well, everybody been slaves in the past, and making it and actually the way he jumbled that up, implying that they were all slaves in America too. Like this was just a big melting pot of slaves, when the slavery system in America was completely race based and only black people were slaves. Is, like I say, intellectually dishonest and meant to be on his face, and it's meant to be confusing on his face, because that's the way he's intended to manipulate this scenario to make it sound like slavery wasn't that bad because everybody was a slave.
Did say there were white slaves. Also, if you really want to apply the same logic that you want to charge all these white folks for as of today, take your ass over to Africa, right? Track your ancestry down, because you're gonna find it deep in there. Find out the African that sold your ass, and then challenge him to a boxing match. And if you
Now he want to be funny again. Yeah, the Africans do owe. You know what I'm saying? So that he ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil. Yeah, the Africans do owe. We come for them after we get done with these white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? But all this ridiculous performative BS about challenging to a boxing match and all this other stuff he about to say, get his horse in his mud hut and all this other dumb stuff he about to say, that's nothing. That's just performative coonery. He's just shucking and jiving for the white folks to try to give them a pass for their past atrocities and their ancestors' past atrocities. You know what I'm saying? And again, we aren't asking for reparations directly from the white people. We're asking for reparations from the government that sanctioned slavery officially throughout this country. It's the government that owes. It's not these good white folks that you out here trying to coon, shuck, and jive and defend and coon for. It's not them that we're coming for our bread. We're coming to the federal government that sanctioned this, just like the government sanctioned the atrocities they committed against the Native Americans, while they actually get reparations. Just like the government sanctioned the atrocity during against the Asians when they were put in concentration camps, to which they received reparations, and the Italians and whoever else they decided to throw reparations to. This country has even paid Jews, which they fought to free and help in World War II. They even pay them reparations. But the people that you actually committed one of the greatest atrocities ever known to man in this country has directly committed it against this group of people. They refuse to pay them reparations for their actions against the black Americans who were enslaved in this country, but they paid Jews reparations when they fought to save and defend the Jews. Make it make sense. He don't want to talk about none of that stuff. He want to make jokes about going African boxing somebody for their camel in a mud hut. I don't find it funny. And I really don't find it funny from a white butt licking tether who also comes from some dang on mud hut somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He needs to go back to his mud hut and try to figure some stuff out. He may owe us some reparations. See, a lot of times, these little African coons and stuff like that, they got an issue because they do fear the fact that they're gonna be the ones exposed for their roles in the dang on slave trade. So yeah, they do owe. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they was bogus. But they got their justice searched because the white supremacists they came and colonized them, basically made them slaves of their own country. Either they came and slaughtered all their people and subjugated them, or they just bowed down willingly to them, and the white supremacists came and stripped them all their resources and put them under their rule. They just came and just said, oh, this is my land now. The white supremacists just cut up Africa into all little pieces all between themselves and just said, this is ours. Never mind those savages that's on all the land right there. That belongs to us now. You know, so yeah, I don't find it funny, Mr. Coon, I Heart Coon, or whatever your name is. I don't find it funny, but you want to try to crack a little dumb little silly joke about going to Africa to try to get some money back from them people, but skip all over the white folks directly here whose ancestors just did this a generation ago, a generation or two ago, two to the most. You know what I'm saying? We gonna ignore them and start talking about the mud huts in Africa. Make it make sense. It's deflecting.
You just so happen to be successful when he hands over his donkey, the little mud hut in the corner, his collection of spears and shit, then you got your reparations. But if you're looking for reparations out of America, good luck.
Look at him. He, man, they ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it. I hope they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's that hating Mike Epps stuff, man, on Friday. Not the real Mike Epps on Friday. He ain't gonna get it. He ain't gonna get it. I hope he don't get it. Don't be over there in the corner hoping we don't get it, brother. Don't be over there in the corner hating. You know, don't be a little hating little tether all your life, man. Don't hate, congratulate. You know what I'm saying? Support. What are you getting out of sitting on here jumping on Twitter and TikTok and all this other stuff, hating on us and cooning up for these white folks? What, they gonna give you a cookie, a couple more views, a couple more subscribes? You'll sell your soul and your integrity for a couple of views and a pat on the back from white supremacy. With your little coon cap on your dang on head, looking like a god doggone fool. Look at you, listen to you.
Then you got your reparations. But if you're looking for reparations out of America, good luck. These white folks don't owe you shit.
Now again, you see this punk dude, this punk dude, man. You see that mentality on them? Oh yeah, they don't know what. How don't they? America owes us. They don't owe us. America owes us for what their ancestors did that the America sanctioned. Again, how many times we have to go over this? We ain't going knocking on white supremacist ancestors or the ancestors of the slave masters door to door, knocking on their doors, asking for no dang on reparations from them people. We want to get our we ain't asking for nothing unique or new, or we ain't reinventing the wheel. This reparations thing has been done time and time again. for many other groups. We don't have to come up with some new weird type of unprecedented form of reparations. Just give us what you gave to Native Americans. Give us land, give us a check, give us sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? We ain't asking for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Again, how is there a justification? How do people in their minds sit up there and separate the fact that America, at this point right now, actively gives reparations to Native Americans for some of the same type of atrocities during the same time periods, but then say black people don't deserve reparations? How do people logify that in their mind? I don't understand that. How do you come to that conclusion in your head where you can just sit back and ignore the fact that black people, at the same time the Native Americans were being decimated and whatever the white supremacists was doing them, black people were enslaved and they were treated just as bad and worse because they were the slaves. The Native Americans were getting wiped out and a lot of other stuff was going on with them. But they even bowed and bent the knee and started participating in the slave trade and helped to subjugate us even further. But again, both groups were were harmed by the U.S. government and during a parallel time period. But the U.S. government pays reparations to one group, but don't pay reparations to the other group. Then the U.S. government commits atrocities against Italians way later on after this and pays them reparations for the atrocities they committed against them. Then they commit atrocities against Japanese people way after this, and they pay reparations to that group too. Then the U.S. government helps and aids Jewish people to be free and released from the bondage of the Nazis and the concentration camps and all of that stuff. The U.S. government helps them and still pays Jews reparations. And all of these reparations were paid after the slave trade, and we just pretend like the slave trade never existed or the American slave system never existed. We act like those atrocities should never be atoned for. Make it make sense. When these coons get out here, when these white supremacists get out here and talk their stuff, you never see them talk their stuff and ever bring up a Native American, a Jew, uh, Italian, Asian, and correlate the reparations that they receive and says, well, they got reparations for this, but black people still don't deserve reparations because of this, that, and the third. There's no way you can logify that argument. There's no way you can. So you just ignore the fact, in order for you all to bring these arguments to bear and act like what you're saying is somehow right or cool or just, or you're speaking in a logical mind frame, is to sit up there and ignore the pink and purple elephant standing right there in the middle of the room, which is the fact that all these other groups got reparations when they were simultaneously aggrieved during the slave trade or way after, and these people still got their reparations before black Americans got theirs. And the government still stands on refusing to even pay the reparations. Make it make sense. I just want to see any politic, bring the best you got. Bring your Ben Shapiro's and your Joe Bidens and your Donald Trumps and anybody that want to argue why we shouldn't why black Americans who are descendants from slaves in America. I want you to bring any of them. Bring your Coons, bring your Candace Owens, bring your Larry Elders, and explain to me, explain to us. I don't want you to just talk about black people in reparations. I want you to explain why Native Americans deserve to get their reparations, but black people didn't. Jews deserve to get their reparations, but black people didn't. Italians deserve to get their reparations, but black people didn't. Japanese deserve to get their reparations, and black people didn't. When y'all sit up there and can give me a valid argument about why all those people deserve to get their reparations, while simultaneously black people don't deserve reparations, then hey, I'll turn coon with y'all and start arguing against reparations myself. Tell black folks, nah, y'all don't deserve no reparations because of whatever logical argument that you present that makes sense on why Native Americans, whose again, atrocities were parallel to black Americans, again, why they deserve to get their reparations. They just gave them, they settled all type of lawsuits and paid them big money, give them checks every month, give them sovereign land, just gave them a couple of years back half of the state of Oklahoma. And on top of all the other sovereign land and territories they got all around the country. Explain to me how they're deserving of them reparations, how they deserve to get all of those things, but black people don't. And then again, let's add them Jews to the mix. Let's add the Jewish people to the mix, because there's a difference. Let's add the Jewish people to the mix. Let's add the Japanese to the mix. Let's add the Italians to the mix. Explain to me, which each and every group, why they deserve the reparations and black people simultaneously don't. Again, I'll flip over to the dark side. I'll flip over to the coon side. I'll be out here shucking and driving and wear the coon hat right with you. I heart coony. If you all can just logically explain that to me. And it has to make sense. It has to. It can't be no "I'm white and I say so" or no stuff like that. It has to make sense on why those folks deserve reparations. Why y'all don't? And this. Why y'all don't speak out against their reparations, but speak out against black people receiving reparations? Why y'all don't speak out against the reparations these people have already received and are receiving? But why y'all don't? Why y'all do speak out against black reparations? Why they and why black people don't deserve reparations while they simultaneously do? And don't argue the fact that you believe that they don't deserve reparations to, even though they got their that's an invalid argument. Because you all don't talk out against their reparations. So don't talk out against their reparations for the sake of trying to, spin this argument. No. Justify why you don't got nothing to say about none of these other folks' reparations, why they deserve theirs and we don't deserve ours. You come with a logical argument, I challenge any white supremacist. Again, Ben Brain, your Ben Shapiro, and I don't know the names of all these weirdos. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep saying Ben Shapiro, because y'all think he's smart because he talk fast and rattle off a whole bunch of BS. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense at all. I'll slow it down and break everything he say down and show everything he says just is bullshit. It's either a lie or it's some nonsensical BS or some just straight up racist ideology. You know what I'm saying? Bring your Candace Owens. Y'all think Candace Owens smart. Again, she just like the black woman version of Ben Shapiro. Talks a bunch of fast every time they go back and fact check her. Like 90% of what she says is lies. She just talks fast and people think she's very articulate. So they think that she's right because she's articulate and sounds like she's winning the argument when she's talking to somebody. When she's punching down, because they normally, and with Ben Shapiro too, when they're punching down, because normally they'll pit them against people who are inept to, you know what I'm saying, to counter anything that they're saying. You know, though, basically controlled opposition. They set them up with fixed fights. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, bring your Candace Owens, your Ben Shapiro's, your Larry Elders, or whoever, and I want y'all to break this down to me and explain clearly and precisely and articulately, like you all are allegedly known to do, why all these groups deserve them reparations, but simultaneously black people don't. If you all can do that, Ole Man Winter will flip to the dark side and I'll be Team Coon. I'll go get me one of the little coon hats that I love Cooney was just wearing. But at the end of the day, let me know what you all think about what we're talking about in this episode. Ain't gonna beat your ears up all night about it. And we out. Peace.